Dear ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I hope that all of you are doing well. I'm Dominik Plattner, the ITTF High Performance Manager, and I am very happy and proud to warmly welcome all of you to our 13th ITTF High Performance and Development webinar with the topic Career After Sport. I want to talk shortly about our webinar code, about our rules. To all the attendees, please mute yourself and turn off the video. Just the panelists' micro and webcam will be on. Please don't touch anything regarding the recording and our presentation slides. And please leave all your questions in the chat. We will try to answer as many as possible in the question and answer part of the webinar. Thank you very much. Over to the introduction of our today's panelists. I would like to warmly welcome our panelists today. They were real champions in their active playing career and continued being very successful in their current jobs. I would like to start with Krisztina Toth from Hungary. She is a multiple Olympian and World Cup participant. She is the winner at the 2000 and 2007 European Championships in teams, 1996 and 2003 in the mixed doubles. She is the runner-up at the 1996 and 2002 European Championships in the women's singles. She took the third place at the 1995 World Championships in the women's doubles, and she is a multiple Pro Tour winner in women's singles and doubles. Hello, Krisztina.
Thank you very much, Tommy.
Over to Werner Schlager from Austria, the 2003 World Table Tennis men's single champion. He is a multiple Olympian and World Cup participant. He took the third place 1999 at the World Table Tennis Championships. He was the winner at the 2005 European Championships in the men's doubles and 2003 in mixed doubles with Krisztina Todd. He is the runner-up at the 2009 European Championships in men's singles and 2005 in the team event. Last but not least, he is a multiple Pro Tour winner in men's singles and doubles. Hello, Werner. Servus.
Hello, Domi. Hello to all. My pleasure being here.
Over to USA, Jasna Rada Faslic. She's a multiple Olympian. She won the mixed doubles at the 1988 European Championships. In the women's doubles championships at the 1992 European Championships, and the bronze medalist at the 1988 Olympic Games in the women's doubles. Hello, Jasna.
Hi, Domi. Thank you for having me here.
You're very welcome. We are happy to have you on board. Over to Jamie Berry, last but not least, Jamie Berry from Australia. He represented Australia at the World Championships from 1991 till 1995. And he was winner at the Australian and Oceanian Championships. Hello to Jamie.
Hello, everybody. Very happy to be with you today from Sweden.
Thank you all very much for taking the time to be with us. And last but not least, I warmly welcome our experienced ITTF High Performance Elite Coach, Massimo Costantini. Pass over to you, Max.
Thank you very much, Dominic, and thank you very much all the panelists coming today with us, joining us with a very important topic. I think after having played million balls, after having played thousand and thousand competition matches, suffering and sweating on the table, yes, coming to an end, there is a career behind. So today we have great stories to tell to our attendees, and I'm sure that we will receive a lot of questions from the attendees. But by the way, we have also prepared some questions for all of you. So after the presentation of Dominic, I would like to give you a very, let's say, welcome applause, a big applause to all of you, to all the career you have done. So we are very happy today. As usual, during this kind of webinar, we go on rotation basis. I have a first question that is maybe quite normal to make it. When was the last time you played a table tennis competition? We can start from the ladies. Jasna.
I think it was in 2012, US Nationals. And in semifinals, of mixed doubles, something happened in my foot. First time in my life I had injury, and it was a sign that maybe it's a time to retire.
Okay, so 2012. How about you, Krisztina?
I played my last World Championships in 2013, so 1 year later than Jasna. It was also some signs that it's time to put the racket on the wall. This was my last official tournament for Hungary, but I'm still playing on some third league, second league in Germany.
Ah, okay, great. How about you, Werner?
My last ITTF World Championships, or big ITTF tournament, was 2015 World Championships in teams in Kuala Lumpur. Played quite good, was based Austrian. But then afterwards, I played some invitation tournaments in China, but they are not really competitive. Okay, they are, but not for points, not for international ranking.
How about you, Jamie?
Well, internationally, I finished, I think it was the Swedish Open 1997 was my last international competition. After that, I continued playing in Sweden for a few more years in Division 1. But actually recently, when my youngest son started playing table tennis, and I think he was 12, 13, I started playing in the local competition in his team. So we played some doubles together, which was fun to do. But unfortunately, he's finished with table tennis now, and he's into another sport. So there hasn't been any table tennis for a few years now.
So, guys, can you describe the feeling of, if you remember, the feeling of playing the very last ball? I don't know if it was planned or was not planned, but what was the feeling? Thinking that. Okay, it's done. I'm done with everything. This was last ball. Maybe you won the game, you won the match, or lost the match. What was the feeling? Well, let's go reverse, starting from you, Jamie. Do you have any memories of this?
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago for me, obviously. But what I can still remember is that I was ready. I was ready for it. I felt back then that it's probably enough now, and I don't feel like I can go on any further without really sacrificing a lot of things. So I think I already had some ideas in my mind about going back to studies, also family, and I decided to get married shortly after then. So I think basically what I can remember is that even though I was still very young, I was only 26, I think, but I was ready to do something else.
Werner?
Well, I think I'm a little bit different because I did not have a plan, so I did not have the moment where I was thinking about stopping playing table tennis. So I don't remember my last ball actually, because I was thinking, okay, maybe I play a little bit later again and play another tournament probably. So I never really officially stopped playing table tennis. So, of course, I do not play table tennis since 2015 professionally, so for points or something, or for ITTF or for the national team. But I have to say that until the last competition, what I did enjoy playing table tennis, and that's what I can play quite well and still can play. But the body, is not as quick as before, but I still enjoy playing table tennis.
Not responding properly.
Not as I'm used to.
Yeah, Krisztina?
Well,
Actually, yeah. So it.
I already started to work for Bavarian Table Tennis Association as I stopped playing internationally. So it was very interesting because for the World Championship, I took holiday that I can take part there because I was already working some weeks there. And I was very happy to get this opportunity to work here in Germany, because maybe we will mention it later, how it's important to stay in table tennis after the career. And And I knew that it would be my last one. It was also good for them that I still presented Hungary. And my last game was against the world champion, Lee Sialsea. So I remember she killed me in 10 minutes in the first round. So, but it was somehow a strange feeling that I will not travel anymore with my teammates, not having that fun, which Werner also mentioned how nice time it was. I really enjoyed playing table tennis, but I knew it's not the way that I want to continue.
Jasna?
Well, mine was a little bit unique experience because I changed the countries, and when I first came to US, I was not even planning to play table tennis much anymore. But then when I became citizen, I was like, okay, let me try to play Olympic trials. So I qualified for Olympics, and then I just, I missed for 4 years. I didn't compete in any tournament, so I missed the table tennis circles. So I started competing, but I was not really practicing for a while. And it was going well, even though I had the jobs and I was working at the same time. But and same as in the last event, when I got injured, I mean, I didn't plan to stop or to continue. It's just, I enjoyed playing tournaments, and I was going to play longer. But now I have also a child, and I'm trying to spend more time with her instead of traveling around.
Okay, well, we still are table tennis players. That's for sure. So it doesn't matter if we are competing internationally with points, no points. I also feel like a table tennis player. Back to you, Dominic.
Thank you, Massimo. As we heard before, it is for the most of you a longer time ago that you've played the last official ball. Let's put it in that way. I would like to start with Werner. Which table tennis memory is still very present in your mind in the everyday life?
Difficult question. Which would that be? Which one? I think maybe 2003 World Championship final. Yeah. Of course, many people ask me that question, and I always have to repeat that it's almost like an accident, but then very positive accident. It's something what is so intense that you will never forget it. And that happened to me in World Championships final in 2003 after my last ball. After Jose Hook was making his forehand contra spin in the air, behind the table, and the ball missed the table. It was so intense feeling for me that I like when you have an accident, I miss some minutes of memory. And that's really interesting. So it's very similar, but in a very positive way. So I'm really happy that I could experience that.
Great to hear. And for sure, it's like you have to undergo this moment to be able to understand this feeling. It's difficult to describe for sure. Thank you, Werner. Pass over to Jasna.
Well, for me, memories usually are not necessarily when I won a medal match or when I won Europeans. It was things around in those events. So, and it's a funny thing that Massimo is here, because I will never forget when we arrived in Olympic Village in 88, and we've never been in that kind of event. The closest something was Mediterranean Games, which it has thousands less people in there. So you come in there and you see all those famous people from different sports, and you kind of feel, do I even belong here? And then we're going with escalator in this cafeteria area down, and I see Massimo, who we were not really ever talking much, but when I saw his smile, it makes such comfortable feeling. Okay, it's fine. We'll be fine here. We belong here. So those kind of things are memories in table tennis that I always, things like that make it special, and why table tennis is so special, also sport, because we meet so many great people from different countries that, you know, we are in touch or we're not, or we become friends later in life.
True.
Okay. Thank you very much for great insights. And I do have to agree with you, as I know how Max is smiling in the coffee bar. I also feel very comfortable with him. Okay, so thank you, Jasna, and pass over to Jamie.
That's a difficult one. Obviously, there are many memories. I think two of them, though, is one was in Australia when I was Australian junior champion, and another one was when I was in Sweden and won a major tournament before the World Championships in 1993. And fortunately for both of them, my parents were able to be there to watch me play. And I think looking back at that, just the amount of time that they spent helping me, both at home and, driving to training and everything else around sport, just being able to perform like that and to, make them proud of me, I suppose. I think those two things probably stick out the most during the years when I think about it now.
Great to hear about your memories with your family. Thank you, Jamie. And last but not least, Kristi, what about you?
It's really difficult to pick one or two things because, as Jasna told, I think the emotional memories is at least as nice as the results and the good that you played good. Maybe I would pick up one when we played with Hungary the team final against Germany in 2000 in Bremen, because we were absolutely not the favorite. The German team played with two Chinese girls and Olga Nemes. And it was in Germany, 5,000 spectators, and we were really underdog, and we beat them, I think, 4-2. And this moment was for me, as for Werner in Paris, that I lost some minutes how it's happened, because the team won last time. I don't know when Hungary won last time the women's team final, and it was really a beautiful feeling to win together. And the second one is the Olympic Games in 2000, where we played for the third place for this. You never play for the third place, only at the Olympics, so that's why we don't have a medal, unfortunately. But we lost 3-2, 21-19 in the fifth. And whole Hungary was really watching. They just repeated some weeks ago, because of the pandemic, they made some sports program, and still hundreds of people telling me, hey, we saw, and it was still so exciting how you played, and such a pity that you didn't manage the medal. It would be the first one for Hungary, but I think it's, for me and Chilla, is memory forever, really.
Great.
Super.
Those moments have to be really unique. Yeah, I can imagine.
It's really something special.
Thank you. Now we've heard so much about your past career, let's put it in that way, like your table tennis career. And I would like to start with Kristi now. And now, I mean, you've already mentioned a little bit what you are doing at the moment. What is your current job at the moment?
At the moment, since 2013, I'm working for Bavarian Table Tennis Association. This is the biggest association in Germany. We have about 1,500 clubs here, over 60,000 people playing table tennis, and I'm responsible for the youth. Under 18, we have now under 21, because we wanted to also give the opportunity for the older players who are just getting out from the youth. So we have also some center here in Munich, about 15 players. And we make daily 2 times practice for them. They go after the morning session to school, so it's a whole things. And we also make some camps for the kids, and I am like a kind of sport director for this whole. And I must say, at the beginning was very strange. Then I never did it like before. I was coaching in many camps and like this, but to take care of the whole organization in this area, it was something new, but it's a very nice job, and I'm very happy that I stayed in table tennis, and I can help young players to get better, because they are really, in Europe, it's not so easy to find a good place to practice for a young player. So And almost 8 years I'm here now, and they improve a lot, and we build up really nice system here. I'm very thankful to association that I'm allowed to do this.
Great to hear, and we are also thankful and happy that you've stood so far in table tennis, and we hope you will in the future too.
Thank you.
Pass over to Jasna. What is your current job?
My current job, I work, it's, I feel like I'm again in table tennis world. I have a club, national and international job. So the club one is Texas Wesleyan University. I work, I'm in charge of basically program for table tennis. So athletes can come from all over the world, study here, and possibly get table tennis scholarship that can help them finish university in any major that they want to study, and there's many different majors that they can study. The other job on the national level is with the US Para program, athletes with disabilities. I've been on that since 2012 also. And on the international level or continental, it's as a high performance manager for North America. So, and I enjoy, like I did many different jobs from computer consulting, teacher, everything. But at the end of the day, I always gravitated toward table tennis, which makes me happier.
Thank you very much. And yes, it takes us all back to table tennis in the end, and that's great. Pass over to Jamie. What is your current job, Jamie?
I'm currently the CEO of the Stockholm Open ATP tennis tournament since 2018. So I've been working with major events since 1999. So that's a bit more than 20 years now in different forms, from the Swedish Rally to Monster Jam, Monster Trucks in large arenas, both indoor and outdoor. Also done a whole range of corporate events for different companies like McDonald's, Gore-Tex, Procter & Gamble. But most recently, before the tennis, I worked for Live Nation in the music industry for 12 years as a project manager for the Swedish Song Contest, which is the qualification for the Eurovision Song Contest. Probably Sweden's biggest event, very popular. And the last 3 years when I was there, I was the commercial director. So I was basically in charge of the whole project, ticketing, marketing, sponsorship. Yeah, it has a large turnover, as you can imagine, being such a major event in Sweden. But now I'm very happy to be back in the sporting world, even if it's not table tennis, but it's tennis. I really enjoy sport, always have and always will. It's been a big part of my life. So I'm very happy to be working with the tennis now, and basically my position is working with business development and developing the event as a world-class event. So I'm really enjoying the challenge right now, even though tennis, like many other sports and many events, is struggling at the moment with the COVID-19 pandemic. So unfortunately, the future's a little unclear at the moment for us.
Thank you very much for giving these interesting insights, and it sounds very interesting, your after sports career, and we all do hope that we are as soon as possible back on the table, on the field, wherever, and don't worry, we forgive you that you choose the bigger ball. Okay, last but not least, Werner, what about you?
Well, I still make quite good living out of my brand name as a world champion, Werner Schlager. I was elected in China 2004 as being the most famous foreign sportsman in China, in front of Michael Schumacher and Tiger Woods. And have had a few contracts now, have still one contract with a Chinese company, which has almost 500 stores in China. And now I'm in the eighth year of having a contract, and I'm really enjoying it, going to China, seeing many different parts of China. and doing exhibitions there. And of course, now with COVID, it's completely changed everything. So all of the plan is now different. But I'm still enjoying that a lot. And of course, I'm still contracted by Butterfly, doing here and there some small things, small stuff. So I cannot complain.
Glad to hear that. Thank you very much, Werner. And I would like to pass over now to Massimo.
Yeah, well, we were talking about table tennis being very much present. I mean, at least Jasna, Werner, and Kristi. So, but I want to make this question anyway. We start with Jamie. So, how present is the table tennis in your current job? Is there any connection that you feel that table tennis is okay? Tennis is bigger, everything is bigger. Too much bigger, but anyway.
Well, I wouldn't say currently, but certainly I wouldn't be where I am today without the table tennis behind me, or the sporting career behind me, because, you know, obviously it's given me a lot. For one, it's given me a lot of opportunities. It's opened a lot of doors. It's also given me a lot of qualities that I still use today. You know, you have to be very dedicated. You have to spend a lot of time, you have to be patient, you have to be motivated. So, I mean, all those things, I think, certainly helped me to get my first job when I started off in events. And I've certainly started at the bottom and worked my way up. So, you know, I think table tennis and sport in general has been a big part of that for me. I've also learned, you know, to grasp the opportunities that I can get. And try to do the best out of them as well. So, yeah, even though, I might not be hitting a table tennis ball back and forward every day, but I mean, it's still with me.
Okay, very quickly, I know it's with you, Werner, Jasna, and Kristi, but anyway, just let's go to complete the question. Start with Werner. So it's every day, table tennis is every day with you? No.
Table tennis is not every day with me, but I make my living mainly out of table tennis, of course, because if you want so good in one specific topic, then it would be crazy to start in another topic all over again. You know, we did invest so much energy and time. So that makes completely sense that if you are good in something, then you should make out a living. It should be the easiest way or the most clever way to make out of that topic you're living, or not?
Yep. Jasna?
Well, Werner made the really good point. We tend to think like, when I first stopped playing for those 4 years and started going to college, and I wanted first job to be as far as possible from table tennis. But then throughout the different jobs, I realized that what makes me happy is to be involved in table tennis. And now I couldn't see any different way. I really like, and they're three different positions, but each one is interesting in its own way, and it's never boring.
Kristi?
Yeah, it's there are very good points. I think also that it's because we are involved so many times in table tennis, we had also not really the chance to know something else. And it's, you know, here you know the people, here you know the opportunities, and I think it's really, as Werner told, it's difficult to start with 40, 45 some new job, and here the people respect what you did for the sport, and this is a very, very difficult thing. If you don't get any chance to stay in table tennis, then what else you can do? So I think it's for many players, ex-players, it's a difficult question what to do after sports if they didn't study anything, or they didn't have the time, or they were not thinking about this. And that's why, for example, we have in Germany very good things like to study together with the sport. So we support our players also study after also university, and don't let them. just play table tennis. So if the school is not working, they will say, okay, then you practice now less, but school must be good. And we get also from the Olympic Committee, we get also some help because they force it. And in my time, we didn't have something like this. And now the players have more opportunities. But of course, I would be happy if my players would stay like in the table tennis, like coaches or like you, Massimo. What you are doing is very, very interesting. So I think we are lucky to stay in table tennis. And I play every day with my players. So I'm very happy that I still can keep with them and they keep me fit.
True. Dominic. No, I mean, back to Dominic. I don't want to ask the same to Dominic, but back to Dominic.
Thank you very much, Massimo. I would like to stay with Krisztina. Is there anything you could take from your table tennis career and apply in your current career? I mean, something that helps you. Of course, now we all got to know that 3 of you are still in table tennis, but I mean, all of us are aware that it's a very big difference to be a player or a coach or a manager or whatever. So is there anything?
I think the most important that we were traveling a lot and we got know many cultures and many people and many situations. So for me, it was not a big difference to get used to something new. I think you are, as a player, you have to always used to get something new or something different. Or if you fly to Asia, then you have to get used to the time difference. So I think we are hard worker, and this I would also teach my players that you can work hard, and this I take from table tennis, and nothing can surprise me anymore because we experience so many funny and strange situations. And we met so many people, and we are very open for everything. And I think that at the moment where in the world, and Jasna maybe can tell us more what is running in the US at the moment, some sad things. This I'm very happy that we are open for any kind of culture and to work with people together.
Thank you very much. I totally agree with you. Of course, within table tennis, you have to adapt very fast to different situations, and this you can also take for everyday's life or whatever. Yeah, you are very, very right. What about you, Jasna? What do you think? Is there anything else what Krisztina mentioned you could take for your career?
Please tell yes, Jasna.
Okay, so there's so many things that build you over the years. I feel, especially with my very difficult personality as a kid and not a person that loved to practice as much, but throughout the years to learn to become responsible, dedicated, to not disappoint your leaders. It really builds you in a person and prepares you for life. And often athletes don't know that how many skills actually they already gained through all these years of playing and traveling and being influenced by great coaches. But then when you start working, you're gonna see that there is something there already. But of course, it needs to be followed with also certain kind of either some kind of education or certifications or experience in some kind of jobs, so you get the best out of your talent.
Okay, thank you, Jasna. Yeah, so of course it's a very long educational way. I mean, the whole life is, we have to educate ourselves and so on. And now I would like to hear from Jamie, because you also changed the field, Jamie. Could you take anything from your active playing career?
For sure. And I mean, I think both Krisztina and Jasna have, good points there about what you learn from the sport. I've also touched on that as well. But I also wonder for myself why I chose to work with major events or live events. And basically, putting my finger on it, I sometimes the final day of a major event or when it's actually happening, I can get some of that feeling when I've actually played a match. So as a person, and what I developed through sport was that I'm very result orientated. Obviously, and to get that, to find an occupation or a job where you can get that feeling again, that sort of rush you have in your body, adrenaline, whatever you call it, and I do get that when I'm at a major event, and it's actually now is the time it has to happen. So I think that's one thing that's developed through sport, but also, as Krisztina mentioned, the ability to adapt. I'm living in Sweden now. I've lived here since 1992. I moved country, as Jasna did as well. Moved to another country, learn the language, learn the culture. I had the ability to adapt to different situations, and I think I also have that ability with the work that I do at the moment as well.
Okay, thank you very much. And last but not least, Werner, what did you take from your career?
Well, as Kristi and especially Jasna said already, the most important thing I think is that if you're a professional for many, many years, like me, I was like 40 years plus in professional table tennis, is that table tennis is your life, the sport is your life, and you learn to lose, you learn to win, you develop your own personality through life. And there, as Jasna said, there's so many lessons what you actually later on, when you think about it, when you look back, you realize how many lessons you learned and how important each and every lost game, each and every one rally, was for your whole life. It's just you build up your own playing personality. And also one thing, what did Kristi, what did she mention was that I think the traveling is also very important, because it opened your horizon, to other cultures, because sport should be here and is here, thank God, to connect people all over the world. And that also what we do right here is also, one small part in helping coming the world together. And I think that's fantastic.
Do you think that, Dominic, do you think that our abilities to be table tennis player, and we play with very much, under pressure, performing under pressure quite well, or we don't know how, can also this be important in your everyday life when you have to take important decision, any kind of decision? So this kind of ability, do you think is also can be one of the key of how we manage our everyday life? Werner.
Again, sorry, I didn't get you.
No, I was saying the table tennis, we have a special ability to perform under the pressure. So okay. We have done so many matches, fight until the end. So this kind of ability to have a clarity, to be focused, to manage clearly what we have to do, also can be a key point in our everyday life. I want to start with you.
I think there are many different aspects to this question, to this question of yours, and it's a very deep dive in. But on the surface, I would say yes, of course, we are used to competition. We learn to set us goals. We learn that we have to work hard to achieve these goals, and of course, we are not afraid of competition because we are used to it and we are quite good in it, being professional and quite successful also. The other thing is the kind of, or the art, yeah, how I deal with competition and how so let's say the philosophy behind fighting, that's the deep dive in, so that I was actually becoming much better in table tennis when I was not so afraid of losing, when I just learned to accept that losing is one part of the game, and that's completely okay, and it's also should be also okay to me. because if you're afraid of something, then this fear is your worst enemy of your success. And that's something what unfortunately mostly you learn in the later time of your life.
It's true.
True. Yeah. Just very quick, Jamie, for you also, it's something that that also can be, you know, you are there with this great circus of tennis and some decision coming, you know, under pressure. Is maybe table tennis will help
for
you?
sure. I mean, obviously, working with major events or live events, there are stressful situations. Something goes wrong. You know, the road is not always straight to the result. So sometimes it's a winding road, and there will be things along the way, whether you've created them yourselves or there are external things that mean that you have to change and you have to adapt to it and handle that sort of stress. And I agree with Werner that obviously table tennis and playing close matches, you learn to control your body in a way that you can deal with stress perhaps better than many other people. So yes, definitely. I would say it's an advantage later on but as Van also said, you also can't be afraid of making mistakes. You can't be defensive all the time. You have to be offensive and dare to perhaps make mistakes sometimes.
True. Jasna, real quick.
It's definitely important to go through that in table tennis because it builds your resilience. You're not taking losses as something bad, it's more as opportunity, and you learn to bounce back faster. And in real life, I have all the time deadlines, there's lots of pressure, so you have to deliver. And having that in table tennis career and being in those situations, you know that you're gonna be fine. And it's not even end of the world if something doesn't go perfectly every time.
Good. Kristi?
I think it's very important for me as a coach to teach the kids, because I was growing up in a little bit other atmosphere in Hungary at that time. If you made a mistake, then you get always punishment. And I really try to motivate my players with positive way, because I remember how it was, and we didn't have the chance to work with the losses and to lose one game because you thought it's the end of the world. So this for me is an important part of my work.
Great. So back to you, Dominic. Sorry, I interrupted you, but this was here. I wanted to ask this, so I made it. Please, Dominic, go ahead.
No problem, Massimo. And this was a great question, so I'm very happy that you asked this question. We all do have, or let's say Massimo and myself, we do have all the time also, let's say, difficult questions for our panelists. And the next one is a very, very tough one. I would like to start with Werner. He likes to have challenges as in his brain.
Okay. Come on, bring it on.
If you compare your table tennis career with the current one, which one is harder for you?
If I could what?
If you compare your table tennis career when you were active and now current career, which one is harder, you would say?
God. Oh my God. I think now, because I have so much freedom and it's very difficult, or let's say it's so easy when you're young and everything is set up for you and you structure, because it's not only you know. When you're a young sportsman, you need a team of people. Maybe your parents and your coach and your friends who make it all happen that you can do your sport as good as you should. And so it's a whole structure built up already for you, and you just have to follow, because that's actually what you have to do. You have to focus on performing, on training, on having very good results at championships. So you have to have somebody who is doing all the structure for you. And so it's very easy because all the structure and the planning is already done, and you have very little things what you can decide yourself. So later on, when you start to be independent, when you start to raise a family, when you start to have kids, as I do with my two small kids, then you then really realize, okay, what life is all about, and then the really difficult questions in life are coming, and the difficult decisions in life are coming. All the social aspects and the relation to your partner, wife, and to your kids, and that's a completely different ballgame.
Okay, good point. Thank you, Werner. Over to Kristi. What do you think?
I would also say now it's more difficult because it was so a free life what we had as we were young. So you were not thinking too much. Even you lost some matches, it was not, I mean, at the moment you felt it's end of the world, but you just continued. You went to practice, you went to school, and now you have to make the decision yourself, and you are responsible only yourself, and you don't take things that easy anymore because it has always some meaning, and it's nobody tells anymore, oh, no problem, you are still young, you will get it. So I would also say it's you are somehow wiser, and then you think more about the things, and then I think we also take care of the problems in the world more serious, not just okay, I'm fine in the practice, or we made some fun with my teammates, and that's all.
This is true, and yes, this was also a good point. We are not older, we are not getting older, we are getting wiser. You are very right. You are very right. Okay, do you feel the same, Jamie?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you've said it well. I mean, 99% of the time practicing in the table tennis hall, that was fun. So, I mean, you know, you enjoyed it all the time, and that was a great period of my life. Working life, I mean, yes, of course, I enjoyed it as well, but some phone calls or some decisions you make, they're not fun, and they can't be fun. So, obviously, it is more difficult, you know, later on in working life. But not to say that it's bad. But I think yes, the easy answer is yes. It was easier when I was playing.
Okay, and what about you, Jasna?
Well, you see, all three of them said the same. We just recently, there were interviews with Primorac, Persson, and Save, and Karakashevich, and all of them, they said the same. But I will disagree in my life because I feel that it's either exactly the same to me or even easier now, because I feel that I equipped myself enough, that I feel very comfortable in what I'm doing, and that I arranged my life so it's actually fun. It's really fun all the time. For me, was Kristi knows always hard practice part. I was not crazy about the practice part. I love competition. I'm a great competitor, but practice was the hard part. So for me, this is like vacation, my job, comparing to all that. But I wouldn't feel this way if I, throughout the years, if I didn't, educate myself and learn things and get better in certain things. Also adapt my personality to certain situations, which the life gets you there, and experiences in table tennis.
Great. Thank you very much. And it's time again to pass over to you, Max.
Yeah, well, it's clear that okay, except Jasna, now the life is harder. We didn't plan to make the last ball, so it looks that we really live day by day. So while you were active players, have you had some thoughts for the future? You know, so thinking, okay, anyway, we have to go through the future. So any thought, I don't know, thinking something particular for the future, starting from you, Kristi, while you were an active player?
imagine I wanted to be a teacher. So I even tried to go to university, but in this time was no chance to manage it with the practice, with the number of the hours. And I don't know if I would be a good teacher or not. I a little bit sad, but then I wouldn't be that good in table tennis. So you have to give up something for something, and that's why I'm happy that nowadays the kids have the opportunity to get both somehow if you make it smart. I was always thinking the recent years to make something online, like lectures, what you are also doing now. So I'm preparing at the moment also something like this, like basic things in table tennis. Together with Matilda Ekholm, we try to make something. So stay in table tennis, but a little bit another aspect.
Okay, Jasna?
Well, when I came to US, it was a big change for me because I didn't have, at that time, I didn't go to university in Yugoslavia because I was full-time player. It was impossible to travel so much and go to school at the time. There wasn't online learning opportunities like now. So that kind of hit me, but luckily I'm very adaptable and I'm always open-minded to try things. I'm not afraid of trying things. So as soon as I came to US, I immediately started to go to university, even though I could communicate in English, but writing and reading, I wasn't really good at it, but I wasn't afraid. I was just, okay, let me try this, let me try that. Same thing with certain jobs. I didn't even know to send email when a computer consulting company asked me to work for them, and they said, we'll train you. And I was like, okay, let's try that. So those kind of things, I took every opportunity and realized why it's important to actually learn something and to have more opportunities, or to take every single opportunity that you have to your advantage and to learn from them. Even maybe that's not going to be forever something, but you should always be open-minded, in my opinion.
And Jamie?
Well, I think Jasna has a very good point there. And even if I was very interested in the commercial side of sport, I would never imagine that I would be working with music in the music industry for so many years. Even though I enjoyed listening to music, I knew nothing about music, basically. Even some of the other events, Swedish Rally, Monster Jam, Monster Trucks. But to be honest with you, throughout all these years, it doesn't really matter what the content is, I've learned. Basically, the way you go about managing or working with these events is basically the same on the commercial side. So I'm happy that I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do back then. As Jasna said, that keep all your doors open, take your opportunities and see where it leads you. So I think that's a very important point for younger people, is not to close any doors.
Cool. Werner, you're the last.
The last. For me, I have to say that I think it was important for me that table tennis in Austria was not a big sport. So, and when I'm in school with my schoolmates, and I was trying to tell them how I'm excited about table tennis, it was always the same answer. What, ping pong, what are you doing? So there was no understanding that ping pong could be, or table tennis could be a professional sport, or could be my profession. So that led to a situation where I was always denying to myself that table tennis will be my job. So because it was downplayed from my surroundings, of course, except my parents and my brother, we except the table tennis family. So outside of that, table tennis was not really respected and had no standing in the society. So that led to an important thing for me, I think, that I never made myself too far goals. So I never pictured myself as table tennis world champion or as you know, that's the thing what I want to do. But I was just enjoying my progress step by step. So because my experience, or I saw with other players, also other teammates of the national team, that some of them, I could not really understand why they were always talking about, okay, I want to be world champion, I want to be like him or like him or like him, because it was so far-fetched. And then what I saw was that they missed the small steps, you know, they missed the concentration for the small steps to do. It's almost like if you want to learn walking as a kid, you know, you start to run, yeah, and you have this goal to run and you want to try to run. No, you will never do it. You will not manage it to run. You know, you have to stand up, learn the balance, then put one leg in front of the other, and like small stepping stones, you know, and that's how you learn your whole life. And I think it was, for me, it was at first it was very bad, because the self-esteem was very low, because I was really good in something what was not very well valued. At the end, I would say, as I said, it was important for me as a player.
Great, great. So thinking about the future, now it's your turn, Dominic.
Thank you very much. And you've said already the keyword. I would like to start with Jasna. Jasna, suppose we have a time machine and we move back into the time when you were young. Would you choose the same pathway regarding your career, or would you add something or remove anything?
Well, I'll tell you this. There's many things that I would done differently, but if that would change where I'm right now, I wouldn't change anything. So I want to be where I am right now in this life, with this husband, to have this child, to have this life. But there are some things I wish I have done differently, and that not necessarily I regret, but I just wish I was listening my coaches better, that I was doing certain things different way. But the end point, I wouldn't want to change.
Okay. Glad to hear that. Thank you very much. And what about you, Werner?
Well, Jasna brought up an interesting point. I think really very similar. That of course you would be lying if I would be lying if I would not regret some decisions what I did my whole life, of course. But I'm at the point where I think that everything in life comes for a reason. So even if it's for the short term, you think it's a negative thing, a very negative thing, and you make up your mind and you really think about, okay, why did this happen to me, and blah 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 blah. But at the end, all of that negative things that happened to me, I now see why this happened to me, and what the maybe not why, but I see now the positive things. So I had to learn, or I had the opportunity to learn out of it. So I'm a richer person now than without these things happening. So at the end, I don't know if I also agree with the second part, because of course I'm happy now with the situation, but I can picture myself also in a completely different situation, with different country, different living situation, and I would be probably also happy. But that doesn't mean that I don't like this life now. It would have been a completely different life, but then I would be also different. So I think the development of everybody is unique, and it should be unique, and it's your unique way. And if you change anything in the past, you would change yourself, and you would be a different person.
Okay, thank you very much. I totally share this your thoughts with you. And I also do think that all negative things have let's say, a positive aftertaste, but this you recognize just later on. Yeah, you are very right. And what about you, Jamie?
Well, obviously, you're a lot wiser the older you get. So, I mean, looking back, I definitely would have trained in a different way, I think, with the knowledge that I have now going back. And perhaps that would have made me a better player. I'm not sure. Obviously, finishing at an early age, I look and think that maybe I should have played on a few more years and given myself the opportunity perhaps to improve a ranking or to perhaps qualify for the Olympic Games. But then again, I'm not sure it would have changed anything, to be honest. Perhaps not doing that has taught me something and has enabled me to be where I am today. So no, I wouldn't change where I am today. I wouldn't go back, definitely not. But perhaps I would have done some things in a different way, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I do think that all of us would do it like that. Yes, and you, last but not least, Krisztina?
I don't want to. So they told already many things. I also like this, that I wouldn't change much. I was also not an easy kid as I was young. I almost stopped table tennis. This would be I would regret if I would stop table tennis in that age. 8 I was, I think, or 9. So I thank almost everything to table tennis. So I'm very glad that I'm here now in this moment. As Werner told, you can also be happy in other country, in other part of work or something. But I think it's important how you feel yourself inside, and if you have balance inside, then you can have a nice life. Because to be happy, it's difficult. You cannot happy 24 hours. But if you have a life that you are satisfied, then it's I think it's nice. And I'm not living in Hungary. This is a little bit difficult because my family is in Hungary. But how you say in German, in Ganzem, I would say it's very nice to be in table tennis, to get this opportunity to. I cannot say how happy I am or how thankful I am for the many people who I get to know through table tennis. So, and this, because if you have friends through sports, I think it's a little bit deeper, as you have other connection just through work or something. So we know so much from each other. We could listen the tragedy, the happy moment, everything from each other, and it stays with you forever, I think.
Glad to hear that. Thank you very much. And again, time to pass over to you, Max.
Yeah, you guys, you have given so many insights, feeling, and great stories. But now we need some wise advice to our attendees, and then later on this webinar will be going on YouTube. So starting from you, Werner. So what would you say? What kind of advice after this great career, the current life? What kind of advice would you give to our friends listening to us now?
Yeah, basically, but that's the philosophy. So I think that I really think that how you express yourself, you will receive. So if you are angry, or if you are unhonest, or if you're doing not nice things, then many not nice things will come back to you. So everything what you do will come back to you magnified. And that's the way how I thought about it for many years, after many things happening to me. And that is I can now in my whole life I can see this again and again and again and again. So this is my most important advice. And kind of sports, watch good players and try to learn from them, and don't listen too much. Or what is very important, I think, is that nowadays you have to you have to remind the people about their responsibility about their own life. People nowadays, they think that every other people outside, they are responsible of how you yourself feel, and that's not the case. So you are the most important people for your happiness and for your life. And that's, you know, it's all about inside you. And if you are in harmony, as Kristi said, it's so important. If you're in balance with yourself, and if you're in harmony with yourself, and if you're loving, then you will have a happy life.
Jasna, what kind of advice from your experience?
Be open-minded. Not necessarily, you don't need to listen every single person in your life. There are people that not necessarily want the best for you, but those people close to you, that they care about you, they do want good for you. Try to educate yourself as much as possible. Nowadays, for these young kids, there is really no reason and no excuse to not find the time, because they can do things online. They don't have to necessarily go to university. There are different certifications. Be nice to people, do networking. Networking is a big deal for a while now. As Werner Schlager said, it's very important how you present yourself to others, because then people will take you differently. They're going to take you more seriously. Be polite. So I would always say, just be open to anything and try things. Don't be afraid, and try to educate yourself as much as possible.
So, Kristi, be yourself, open-minded. What do you think? More advice, so our attendees can collect so many.
Yeah. I think the two most important they told already: educate yourself and take responsibility for your actions. Because I also see that people think always that the other are somehow guilty for their mistakes, and they don't want to be. I'm not only talking about young players or young people. They also the older, they say, I was doing everything well. It was just others' mistake. I see it more and more nowadays. And education is very, very important, because you never know what you reach in table tennis, and you never know where. If you don't like it anymore, then you are there at over 40 and you don't know what to do. And take serious the practice time. This I would say to table tennis players. So it's no problem if you are like a little bit like Jasna, who didn't love table tennis at the beginning, but she was a great competitor, as she told. So everybody has advantages, disadvantages, but try to put hard work, because it pays off. I think it's really important.
Jamie, more advices?
Probably much of the same, but I think believe in yourself, and don't doubt yourself too much. I think you have to believe that you can achieve something if you want to achieve it. Obviously, it's going to be hard work, but you can do it if you really want to do it. So I think a lot of people doubt themselves far too much. I don't think that it helps. I think I choose to have a positive outlook on life for most things, and I think it helps to have that sort of outlook on life. So I think, you know, in sport, but even in working career, choose to be positive and choose to believe in yourself.
Great. So, guys, we have extended a little bit, but we have one more question. We left for the very last. We have the last round of answers from you, and it's about the family members. So, starting from you, Jamie, which role did your family member play in your career, and who were the key persons?
Yeah, well, obviously my parents, they weren't, you know, top competitive table tennis players. They were social players, although my dad came from a competitive cycling background. So, perhaps I've got some of his dedication along the way, but they were certainly both very interested in sport. So, definitely I would say my parents were the major influence on me starting off in the sport, but also continuing, the ups and the downs. They were always there for me. And today I, obviously appreciate the amount of time they spent with me. And I try to do that myself with my two sons that are heavily involved in sport now. They play a popular Scandinavian sport called floorball, and they're both doing very well. So I try to give them as much as my time as possible, because I know how important that is.
How about you, Kristi?
My mother was who took me to table tennis practice first time, but after some weeks, my father took this place who brought me always to the tournaments and practice. So definitely my parents gave me really big help. Till now, they are helping me a lot. And my uncle was a professional player, so he taught me a little bit, and he told me, come on, I'm at you, I have my racket there, let's just play some table tennis. And he saw I have a talent, so without him I wouldn't achieve this thing. So for these three people I'm really thankful.
Werner?
I'm thankful about my parents, because they spend a lot of time with my brother and me, and of course my brother also was very important for my development. He was also playing table tennis. I have an older brother. He was also a member of the national team. I think if you have parents who are really into the sport, then it makes life, of course, much easier, because all the family is supporting you and is doing everything they can to build up a structure where you can be a good sportsman. So all my family actually was playing table tennis. My mother also, she's a city champion in table tennis, so a little bit better hobby player, but at least and I have to say my parents then, in their older days, they start to play tennis. So they both play tennis very often, actually almost every day. So they are very sporty still.
So lunchtime, dinner time, only talking table tennis. There were.
Actually, unfortunately, yes.
Jasna, how about you?
Well, my parents were just amazing, and as well as my sister. My first coach was actually my uncle, who's a brother of my father, and but my parents were there watching practices, and were very understanding of me, because me and my sister, we were very different personalities, and she was always, I didn't want it to admit, but she was always my role model, but she's so very different, and I always try to make it look like as I don't want to be with her, but at the end of the day, she was just so amazing in school, in table tennis, and everything, and she was always there for me, and reality check for me. But my parents, especially in those days, and being also in Yugoslavia, maybe some other parents would be very pushy and not understanding my type of personality and behavior at the table at the times. My mom just would always tell me, like, I don't care if you lose, but just don't make me blush every time, because I would embarrass her with the behavior. So yeah, they were always there for me, and unfortunately my mom passed away when I was 16, so it is hard to not have the whole team at home behind me, but I managed, and they prepared me for life after.
That's amazing, guys. Thank you very much. Dominic, I think we are almost at the end of this great webinar. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Massimo. You are very right. And now all of us got to know what our great panelists have done so far after having finished their active career. Somehow signs arose for almost all of them to retire from their active career due to different reasons, like the private or physical ones. Although it was a strange feeling for them, they have great memories on the court in their minds, but some of them are also having great memories off the court with their colleagues. Except Jamie, all of them have stood so far or got back to table tennis. But Jamie is and was a manager and commercial director, and also very happy. He's very happy to be back in the sportive world after having had an excursion to the musical field. They mentioned that players have more options today regarding education, and that table tennis helped them to adapt quickly, to get dedicated, and it was a great preparation for life. You learn to win, you learn to lose, to develop, etc. Side experience, the whole track extended their horizon a lot. Sports is part of the game and of the table. We have to accept that, and then we can develop and be successful in many different ways and fields. Krisztina, Jasna, Werner, and Jamie, we want to thank you very much for sharing your active career stories, giving us so many interesting insights, being role models also in an inspirational way, and for sharing your thoughts and experiences. So thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be with you today.
Thank you. And I would also like to thank all of you for your interest and attendance. And I'm looking forward to our next webinar on next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central European Summer Time with the topic Basic Knowledge of Video and Performance Analysis. And we will have a great guest. It's Michael Fuchs from Germany, who is a Master of Education in Informatics and Maths, and does the analysis as a national coach for the Para Table Tennis Germany. Looking forward to a great lecture and discussion with him. Will be great to get to know what video and performance analysis in general is and how it can be efficiently used. That's all from my side for today. Pass over to you, Max, and I kindly ask you for the closing words.
Yeah, thank you, Dominic. I hope you can hear me properly, because there is some disturbance. I don't know, but anyway, yes, I joined Dominic in thanking all of you for the time you joining us. It was great. I believe that the attendees enjoyed this time, and I wish you all the best. Good luck with you, with your family, everything you're doing now and in future. Thank you very much again. For the attendees, I would say don't miss next opportunity, this webinar with Michael Fuchs. It'll be very interesting. And again, stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.